In this video, I want to solve the limit as x approaches 2 of this rational function. The first thing to notice about this rational function is that it has two radicals in the numerator. If I plug in x equals 2, I get 0 over 0. In this case, I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. So the way to multiply by the conjugate is to first look at the numerator. One of the signs is going to be the same, and then two of the terms will be the opposite. So we're going to let square root of 2x plus 5 have the same sign, and for square root of 3x minus 5 and negative 2x, we're going to have the opposite sign. We're then going to multiply top and bottom by this conjugate. I'm going to leave the bottom in factored form because eventually I want to cancel out the x squared minus 4 factor. And in the top, I multiply by the conjugate to get 10 minus x minus 4x squared plus 4x times the square root of 3x minus 5. Okay, in this step, I notice that the x squared minus 4 term is giving me issues, because when I plug in x equals 2, I'm dividing by 0. So what I'm going to do is break out this limit into two different limits. The first limit is going to have the denominator of the square root of 2x plus 5 minus square root of 3x minus 5 plus 2x. And everything else is going to be with the other limit. The reason I'm going to keep the 10 minus x minus 4x squared plus 4x times the square root of 3x minus 5 is because I'm going to have to multiply again by another conjugate to simplify the denominator. Now I can plug in x equals 2 to evaluate the first limit, and I get 1/6. And I'm going to multiply that by the second limit. So my goal is to solve the second limit. In this step, I still have the x squared minus 4 term in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is multiply by the conjugate. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of the top, and then multiply top and bottom with that. So because it has 4 terms, 3 of the terms are going to be the opposite sign. And then only one term is going to have the same sign. So the 10 minus x minus 4x squared are going to have opposite signs, and we're going to leave 4x times the square root of 3x minus 5 with the same sign. And we're going to multiply that top and bottom. Again, I still want to have the denominator in factored form, because I'm going to end up canceling out one of the x squared minus 4 terms, or factors. In this step, I factor out the x squared minus 4 to get x plus 2 times x minus 2. And with some multiplication, distributing, and factoring, I was able to pull out x minus 2 from the numerator. Now, I can cancel out the x minus 2 factor, leaving me with a much nicer limit, because I can plug in x equals 2 now to get my final answer. So I plug in x equals 2 and get that the limit is negative 1/4, and if I multiply that by 1/6, I get negative 1 over 24. And that's my final answer.